Hello everyone. In this chapter, we will learn the structure and working principle of the transmission assembly.
1. Transmission functions. 1. It can change the speed and torque from the engine and the transmission ratio, and expand the driving wheel torque and speed range to adapt to the changing driving conditions, and allow the engine in a better working condition. 2. Under the condition of the constant rotation direction of the engine, it can achieve reverse driving. 3. The neutral gear can be utilized to interrupt the power transmission, so that the engine can start, idle, and glide, etc. 2. Transmission types. According to the transmission ratio series, it can be divided into 3 types: stepped type, stepless type, and integrated type. 1. Stepped transmission. It is adopted with gear transmission, with a number of fixed transmission ratios. 2. Stepless transmission. The transmission ratio can be continuously changed in a certain range, and it is achieved by a hydraulic torque converter. 3. Integrated transmission. The hydraulic torque converter and the planetary gear transmission compose the hydraulic mechanical transmission. Between the maximum and minimum values, the transmission ratio can have stepless variations in several discontinuous ranges. Transmission parts of automatic transmission is composed of 2 parts: actuating elements and planetary gear drive mechanism. The actuating element includes clutch, brake, and one-way clutch. There are different types of planetary gear mechanism, such as Simpson and Ravenix. Structure and working principle of automatic transmission. 1. Automatic transmission structure. Automatic transmission mainly consists of 5 parts, namely a hydraulic torque converter, gear shifting mechanism, gear shifting actuator, hydraulic control system, and electronic control system, as shown in Figure 721. It has double-row planetary gears with the front and rear planetary rolls. Ravenix automatic transmission is a compounded planetary mechanism composed of a single planetary roll and a double planetary roll, with a planetary frame, a long planetary wheel, and a gear ring. So, it has 4 independent elements. Compared with Simpson automatic transmission, Ravenix automatic transmission has a more compact structure, larger transmission torque, yet a complex structure and complicated operating principle. 2. Basic operating process of automatic transmission. The basic operating process is shown in Figure 722. Electronic Control Unit, ECU, uses a sensor to collect the throttle opening, speed, and other signals, and compares them with standard data in memory to determine gear shift position and timing. Then, ECU, Electronic Control Unit, will issue control instructions to the electromagnetic actuating element and change the gear transmission route through the hydraulic actuator to achieve automatic gear shifting. 3. Hydraulic torque converter. It is installed between the engine and transmission. The engine torque is gently transmitted to the transmission input shaft, and the automatic torque increase is realized within a certain range. Its structure is shown in Figure 723. 4. Planetary gear mechanism. The main function of planetary gear is to form different transmission ratios and combine them into different gears of electronic automatic transmission. The planetary gear mechanism is composed of 3 elements: sun gear, gear ring, and planetary frame. When the gyration centers of the 3 elements coincide, Any element can be braked or two elements can be connected. Moreover, power transmission can be realized between the remaining two elements. Its structure is shown in figure 724. 5. Elements of shift actuator. The elements of the shift actuator include a clutch, a brake, and a one-way clutch. The overall structure is shown in figure 725. 1. Clutch. A wet multi-plate clutch in an automatic transmission is used to connect an input or output shaft to a basic element, or to connect the two basic elements in a planetary gear mechanism to achieve torque transfer. It is structured in a multi-piece friction hydraulic control actuator as shown in figure 726. 2. Brake. The function of the brake is to hold the basic elements of the planetary gear mechanism and prevent it from rotating. In automatic transmissions, wet multi-plate brakes and belt brakes are commonly used. 1. Plate brake. Its structure is the same as that of the plate clutch. The difference is that the outer spline teeth of the brake-driven plate are connected to the fixed transmission housing and can be moved axially to brake the active part when they are engaged, so that the planetary gear mechanism can be restructured and shifted as shown in figure 727. The brake has smooth joints and clearance does not need to be adjusted, while the disadvantage is its large axial size. The plate brake can increase and decrease the number of friction plates to meet the requirements of the engines with different displacements, so it is applied often in cars. 2. Belt brake. It consists of a brake belt, an oil cylinder, a piston, and adjusting parts. The outer spring is the return spring of the piston, and the inner spring is a buffer spring of the reaction force of the rotating drum for preventing the piston from vibration. The adjustment points are mostly at the support end of the belt, which can be adjusted at the outside or adjusted after removing the oil button. Turn the adjusting bolt to adjust, tighten and then loosen for 2 to 3 turns, and then use the locking nut to lock after adjustment. Its structure is shown in figure 728. 3. One-way clutch. The one-way clutch is used to fix the rotation of a basic element in a planetary gear mechanism in one direction. Generally, it is the wedge block type, as shown in figure 729. 6. Hydraulic oil pump. The oil pump is the power source of the hydraulic oil in the transmission. The oil pump is installed in the rear of the torque converter mostly, and is driven by the engine through the torque converter. When the engine does not work, the system has no oil pressure, so the clutch and brake cannot work, and the engine cannot be started by gear engaging and reversing drag. A limited pressure valve is set in the main oil channel of the transmission to prevent high oil pressure at high speed, as shown in figure 7 to 10. 7. Control valve assembly. The control valve assembly includes upper and lower valve plates. It is equipped with an oil passage, installed with a solenoid valve, shift valve, manual valve, and pressure regulating valve, as shown in figure 7 to 11. The control valve includes 2 parts, a manual valve and a shift valve. The manual valve is operated by the driver through the handle and connecting device to change its position. It is used to switch the oil circuit of the control system and realize the conversion of P, R, and D and other gears. The shift valve will be controlled by ECU, according to the speed and engine load. Under the oil pressure, controlled by the shift solenoid valve to shift to the left or right. Switch the oil circuit of the shift actuator and complete the combination of the shift actuator to achieve automatic gear shifting.
Okay, that's the end of the class. We will introduce the assembly of automatic transmission next time. See you.